Blind belief in fate leads men into lifelong traps and emotional suffering. So, our country operates through fate, largely due to the reason being ours is a very religious country. And in every religion, there is a huge emphasis which is laid to fate, that whatever happens, happens for a reason, everything is written, everything is destined, it is fate. So, people, rather than doing the homework, rather than getting the knowledge, rather than acknowledging the red flags, what they do, they leave everything to fate. They think that since this is destined, this is what I was destined for. So even if there is something bad happening to him, he thinks that this is fate. My God must have selected this for me. So this wrong approach towards life, what happens? What's the outcome? That they end up completely overriding the red flags which they might have seen at the first place. But since they are governed by religion, they're governed by fate, which is a part of religion, they completely overlook the red flags because they think that since my marriage is made in heaven, since I am destined for this, since she is the one who was born for me, since she is the one who was destined for me, so I would might as well override and neglect and completely ignore the red flags which I am seeing. So you're getting the direct connection that what a dangerous concoction this is. That when and rationally thinking, a person is supposed to run a check, and naturally they will be seeing lots of red flags in a woman. But when you see more than one, two, three red flags, what's the right approach which I've trained you? You should get the hell out of that place. You are not supposed to hover around that place. But the biggest mistake which all the Indians make is, in spite of seeing the red flags, they accept that woman with wide open arms just because they think that she is the one who is destined for him. So you're getting the direct link about the biggest blunder, the biggest stupidity which Indian men make. So my first point in this regard is emotional thinking makes men ignore the red flags. So ideally thinking, which I always tell you, never ever involve emotions in these decisions. When it comes to choosing a wife, when it comes to choosing a girlfriend, you should never be emotional, because I'm aware that the Indian society is tuned in such a way that they operate by emotions. They say proudly, they say with a smile that India is an emotional country. That's why they are emotional about religion, they're emotional about cricket, they're emotional about Bollywood, they're emotional about movies and stuff. But the thing is, that is the biggest blunder which they are making, because a man is supposed to operate by their brains, not by emotions. And the same thing comes into play when it comes to even marriage. When it comes to finding a life partner, you shouldn't be emotional at all. You should be bringing out your paper and pen, and you should be writing down all the aspects, and whenever you see more than one, two, three red flags, you're supposed to completely get the hell out of that territory. But what Indians do, they operate by emotions. They think that this girl is educated, this girl is good looking, so I would be a fool if I let go of her. So what they do, they completely blindly ignore the red flags which is clearly evident. They completely ignore it. Why? They make the decision by their emotions, and on top of that they add this factor, this religious factor, that since she came in my life, definitely she must be the girl I was waiting for all my life. Because firstly, see, you guys, all of you must be aware that only a very incompetent and a mediocre person settles for arranged marriage, because they are completely incompetent to find somebody of their own. So they are just left with the last resort, which is arranged marriage. So finally, when that lady comes in their lives, they think that she is the one he has been waiting for, because he was completely incompetent, he was completely invalid to find somebody of his own merit. Since he is incompetent, he depends on the arranged marriage structure, and the arranged marriage structure is the biggest scam happening in the Indian society, which I've already proven it to you. But these morons, they think that since this lady has come in his life, she was the one who was written for him. So they end up making an emotional decision instead of making a rational decision. So ideally, he should be looking at the red flags. which women are brimming with at today's date. But rather than addressing the red flags, they are overridden by emotions, and they completely accept for how much of a red flag that girl must be carrying. So this is the number one mistake Indian men make. My next point is fate becomes an excuse to avoid responsibility. This is yet another mental disease which is engulfing the Indian society. That to avoid responsibility, they will give the name of fate. If anything bad happens to them, they will directly say, it was written in my fate, it was written in my destiny. Dude, I say that you make your own fate, you make your own destiny. I've always believed that I make my own luck, I'll be making my destiny, and I've actually rewrote whatever destiny might have been written in my case by my actions, by my hard work, by my discipline, by my dedication. That is how winning is done. It is not like the Indians, the average mediocre herd followers. They put everything down to fate. If anything bad happens to them, they will say it bad was written in my destiny. Dude, you were given the chance, when you were presented the chance to find that right person, and even when you came to know that the girl was having lots of red flags, what should have been the ideal thing to do? To get the hell out of that place. But still they insisted on marrying that girl because they never had any options. Plus they got the signs that she's the one he has been waiting for. So now whenever things turn south, when things go down, they now blame their fate, they blame their destiny. Rather than taking responsibility, Indians are experts in blaming fate. So my takeaway of this point is take the responsibility, hold yourself accountable, make the right decisions by yourself, be yourself at all times. Don't leave anything to fate. It is all your life, is only your own responsibility. There is nobody who is coming, there is nobody sitting on top and looking at you, whether you're sneezing, whether you're whatever you're doing, whether you're defecating. Nobody is there looking at you. Your life is your own responsibility, and you have to take the responsibility. And don't be like these mediocre herd followers who pins everything to fate. Don't be that loser. My last point for today is suffering comes when your decisions are not grounded in reality. You will see majority of these herd followers, they are suffering in life. But that's not because it's their destiny. They blame their destiny for their sufferings. It's just because their decisions are not grounded in reality. Whatever I have achieved in life, they were all decisions which I have made, which were grounded in reality. You must be aware that I'm a guy who has his foot firmly in the ground. I'm having everything in my life, but still I've never allowed myself to soar in the air. I'm the one who has never basked in his success. I'm the one who has never ever left the grounding. But majority of these average, pathetic herd followers, firstly, they don't have anything to be proud of. Still, they are the ones who are floating in the air. Wherein, in reality, their decisions should be grounded in reality. But they will never ever make their decisions in reality. They will always be flying in the air. And when things turn bad, when things turn wrong, they will be the first ones to blame destiny. Dude, when you were presented the chance to make your decision based in reality, you were the one who did not take that opportunity. And now when things are going bad because of your own wrong actions and because of your own wrong decisions that you have taken, now you are conveniently blaming destiny for it. So the first thing out of this point which I'm trying to make is, you should be making your decisions grounded in reality. They shouldn't be grounded in a haphazard way. It shouldn't be in the air. You're getting the connection of, so never ever be like these mediocre herd followers who make their decisions grounded through emotions. You're getting it. You will see all of these herd followers, not majority, all of these mediocre herd followers whom you see every day. India is a country filled with mediocre herd people, you know that. One common thing is they make all their decisions grounded in the air. They never make their decisions which is grounded in reality. And you will see the few successful people, be it in any success in any field, it can be in their personal life, it can be in their relationships, it can be in their businesses. You will see only those people who have made their decisions grounded in reality. Only they are the ones who are happy, and they are the ones who are at least living in peace, if nothing else. So be that person who makes their decisions grounded in reality, and never ever be like those average, pathetic, mediocre herd followers who make their decisions never ever related to reality.